2020, welcome to 2020. I wish you a happy new year and your family and your loved ones, and I hope you had a very good celebration. Do you actually do you set yourself goals for the new year, or how does it work with you? Let me know in the comments if you have goals and what you're doing, what you're planning for 2020. Because I plan a lot of things in 2020, but I have to tell you something. Before I started my business, before I started traveling, I always set myself goals for the new year, and then I never really worked on that. And actually only last year I figured out why I never really worked on my dreams, and I never really figured out how to solve that. And I just said I wanted to do it, but I not really was working and focused on that. And this has to do with your habits. I made another video just about habits and morning routines. You should definitely check that out because that will change your life. But now I'm more in alignment with my habits and my goals, so I know exactly what kind of goals I can achieve. And if there is something out of the range of my habits, I know I'm not just driving for this goal, I'm driving to establish this habit. This is one of the main reasons why I started my daily vlog, not just on the 1st of January, because that was an idea, an itch that I always had. I wanted to start a daily vlog. So why not start today? So this is what I did in Christmas, so why not start today? So I started that in Christmas because, you know, I did the same in Vancouver. We knew that at that time we were thinking about a business. We were thinking about, oh, why not start a Canada blog? Because I was in Canada, I have the experience with Canada. Should we wait? There was a time frame when Christina and I was going for our road trip, and it was like maybe 2 months left until the road trip. You know what? Don't wait until we start our road trip and then maybe we don't even know if we can enjoy our road trip. Just start with our business right away, even if it's just an hour every day. So we went to the universities in the evening, even after the hard work in the day. We started thinking about ideas, thinking about making the website, and all those kind of things step by step. And the same process now with my daily vlog. I always swear fearing to start a daily vlog, but now this is already episode number 8. It's 8 episodes and was just going like tick, 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 tick. If you have established your routines and habits, I cannot stress that out enough. This is how you achieve whatever you want to achieve. And you know, I believe in you. You can achieve whatever you want for 2020. Because when I can do it, you know, easily you can do that too, because I think I'm one of the most craziest people in this planet, and I have to work sometimes 10 times harder than other people. So I think you can make that too. You can make it. Whatever you want in 2020, you can make it. Let's talk about 2019, a short rewind, because 2019 for me was one of the most craziest years. It was for me one of the most interesting years, the most challenging years, the most hardest years, and in so many different types of fields I kind of could develop myself. It was not a straight line, I can tell you this. No, we are just human. We struggle with problems, and I had problems this year. So 2019 was the year when I stopped my 4.5 years of traveling. So for the last 4.5 years, I was traveling around, always every year I knew exactly which year I will be in the next year, because I knew I'm just going with the next working holiday visa I can get. So at the beginning of 2019 for me was a big struggle, and it took me a couple of weeks to kind of find balance and just to enjoy the struggle of I can't get a working holiday visa anymore. And that took me a while to accept, while I'm now in a position that I can actually enjoy, because I built up something that a lot of people don't even try to do. So now I can go to any country in the world and I don't even have to look for a job, because I can work with the things that I'm doing right now, what I'm sharing here on this channel, the journey. I'm not saying I'm already on the point that I make millions, no. And I'm not saying I'm even on the point where it's poverty line, no. I'm still way below poverty line. Hey, I could at least live in countries like Bali, because there the monthly average is like $150. $150. Okay, yeah, I could go to Bali. By the way, I was in Bali this year. That was amazing too. So this year I had so many interesting things happening. Let's talk about Melbourne. Melbourne, I made 2 major projects about Melbourne because I fall in love with Melbourne. I lived in Melbourne for for more than a year and 3 months or something. I lived in Melbourne, and there are so many great memories, so many videos, so many creativity, so many people, so much influence that came to me because of Melbourne. And I tell you, I was scared to leave Melbourne. Because of that, I placed my identity into Melbourne, and my Instagram channel still today can show that and prove that, because 15% of the people who watch my stuff are from Melbourne. And that's not travelers who just been there for a second or a couple of days. No, there's actually people from Melbourne who still follow me because they liked what I did there. And if you are one of those and you are now watching this video, thank you for sticking around. And I believe in you. You can achieve everything that you want. So Melbourne, I left Melbourne, but you know what? I decided, fuck it, I go back to New Zealand. Because before I went to Australia, I've been in New Zealand and I've been 2 years in Canada. And so I decided, let's meet up with two major important friends. And also one of them, Cindy, you are such a powerhouse. You are such an inspirational personality. You had one of the biggest impacts while I was lonely, because that was one of the problems I had. Even if I liked the city, even if I had so much inspiration, I really felt more and more lonely, because when you travel so much, it's very hard to build deep connections. I met a lot of new people and I could always talk with them, because that's like my personality that I've developed because of traveling, to be open-minded, to talk in public. It's just why camera is also helping. But I felt lonely. I felt more and more lonely than ever, and I felt really down on this point of time, because I was also scared about going back to Germany. I also felt disconnected with my family, because 4.5 years, I only seen my parents once. Yes, I was Skyping with them on WhatsApp, and more than ever, like the years before, I wasn't in touch with them as many times as I was actually when I was traveling. But this was a big piece. And this is still, now you will see that in my journey here, this is still something where I feel like in between worlds. On one point, it's super exciting because I can choose to live where I want. I can go where I want. I can build what I want. I can do whatever I want. But I cannot take everyone with me. The only solution that I found for me to kind of like take you with me is through the lens and talk to it. It's kind of like it's kind of like a therapy right now. Hi, I'm a therapist, and Daniel, how was your year 2019? I bet it was a very, very hard year, right? But I have an idea for you. Just go on a road trip. Because road trips are solving everything. After I went to New Zealand, I came back to Australia. This is the time when I actually finished the Melbourne street art video, which I think still to this day is my most incredible video. Or maybe I feel it this way because it's the most connected, because I worked for this 5-minute clips for 4 weeks. And this was also the peak of my loneliness, because in that time I didn't have time to see anybody. I just wanted to finish it, because I had this pressure in time. When you come back as a tourist, you can only stay for 3 months, and I knew I wanted to see the West Coast. This was the main reason why I came back. But I dedicated, you know what, I want to do another favor for Melbourne. I want to give a thank you from my heart to Melbourne, and for the creativity and the inspiration and the street art there. And this is why I created this video. If you haven't seen it, come on, check it out. Here's the video. Melbourne street art, why do we create? You should watch it. Leave me a comment there and tell me what you think about the video. Let's move on. After that, I did a West Coast trip, and I did a road trip, and I met so many cool people. And this was so crucial for me, for myself, for the balance, for the loneliness, for everything. I decided to stop working on my blog. I decided to stop being on social media. Anyway, on the West Coast, there was not much internet available. So even if I would, because I had this idea of daily vlogging for the West Coast, I could have never finished it, because it would just be a struggle, like, oh no. So now I had time to make new friends, and I had time to spend time with really, really important people who changed the course of my life. So thank you for all the people who went with me together to the West Coast trip. After that, I went to Bali. I already mentioned that. Bali is an amazing country. I could go there and live from my money that I make at the moment. Here in Germany, the reason why I don't have to work at the moment for other people and just work for myself is because I moved back to my parents' house. But after Bali, and this is one of the high peaks of my journey in 2019, Vicky, hey Tiger, my friend from Germany, she came to Thailand. 4.5 years, she's my best friend. We only stayed in contact a couple of times, and she decided, you know what, I don't care. Daniel, we meet up wherever in the world you want to be meeting up. So I decided, let's go to Thailand. And I met Vicky there, and I showed her, and it was so cool, because you have to know, my first big backpacking traveling was in 2008, when I decided to go just to Thailand with no plan. I just had a ticket back and forward, like return, you know what I mean. I just went there, and I had the change of my life. I came from a desperate, and I was so like I was not like today, extrovert and talking and open-minded. No, I was introvert, not looking people into the eyes when I was talking. I was out of a relationship and I felt down, I felt desperate, and I thought like the life is over. And I thought like, you know what do I have to lose? So go and see the world. And this is the story of how I became addicted to traveling. And so 10 years later, 2019, my best friend from Germany, she's from the dancing group. This is why I met her. We went in the same dancing group. She came to Thailand. And for her, it was the first time a big travel with a backpack outside of Europe. Oh man, it's only with traveling with her together how much I already lost of that first movement, the first feelings that you have. Because now for me, it's normal. I travel so many countries. When I ask in my stories about, hey, have you been to Australia? 70% is saying no. And for me, it's like, what? You never been there? Whoa. This is because I got used to that, and I have to come back to realize that this is something special, and I want to show that, and I want to show that you can do this. And this is why I started this vlog, and I started by having my travel business and other things. I also made my first tattoo in 2019. Can you see that? I see that. This is a tiger, because from the Chinese horoscope, my birthday is the 9th of October 1986. Every 12 years it's tigers, and basically my best friend Vicky, she's a tiger as well. So this is why we always in our messages, in our stories, we're saying and talking about 2 tigers in Thailand. Oh, Vicky, I love you. And I got this tattoo because my Canada blog turned also 3 years at that time, and it's kind of like a representation for myself. The tiger is looking me into my eyes, and he's showing me all the struggle and process that I had to went through to come to the point where I am right now. And it will always remind me that with hard work and progress and dedication, you can achieve every goal that you set your sights on. And there's so many more things that happened this year that I can't really put in this video. I keep this one now almost as uncut as possible so that you see my raw, how I act. This is not just something I act in front of the camera. This is me, this is Daniel, and I hope you achieve everything that you want in this year too, because I know you can. Now we have a decade behind us and we have a decade in front of us, and you can achieve everything that you want to do. Just go out and do it. I'm Daniel. See you tomorrow. Bye.